In part 1 of this 3-part series about repairing a Catalina 380, I talked about why I chose this particular boat as a project boat. I also took a close look at exactly what damage had been done to the boat and how best to go about making the repairs. In part 2, I started on the repairs. We worked on fixing the front of the keel as well as the fiberglass damage at the back of the keel, and a few miscellaneous small repairs such as cracking in the sides of the keel. I then decided to go ahead and launch the boat, as I figured it would be easier to work on in the water, and it would be more comfortable as I could run the air conditioning, easier to get on and off of the boat as well. Also, it took the weight off of the keel, which allowed the boat to settle into a natural shape before I did the final fiberglassing on the inside. She was completely watertight at this point, and there were no worries. Unfortunately, at this point in the project, I didn't get as much video as I should have. I'll try my best working with still pictures and narration to explain exactly what I did and why I did it. Before getting started, it pays to take the time to properly cover and protect the interior from any damage that might happen while working inside. With this particular boat, I was able to remove the floor panels, exposing the fiberglass liner below it. This allowed me to set the panels aside so that they would not be damaged. This also allowed me better access to any openings in the fiberglass liner. Once this is complete, and I've gotten things cleared out of my way, it's time to start fully assessing the damage. I had repaired the fiberglass on the inside at the aft end of the keel prior to launching the boat. This was because I needed to complete the glass work before I could reinstall the through hull. But the rest of the stringers still needed some attention. There was some obvious secondary bonding failure where some of the stringers had been glassed to the hull on the inside. The cracks you see in these photos are not actually cracks in the hull, but they're cracks at the edge of the tabbing used to bond the stringers to the hull. It is not too unusual to see this secondary bonding fail when there has been a hard impact with flexing of the hull. The damage inside, for the most part, didn't look too bad, at least in the areas that I could easily access. Everything I could see was simply failure of secondary bonding of the tabbing from the stringers to the hull. This would be relatively easy to fix. The stringers themselves appeared to be in good condition, with no indication of any cracking or fracturing. The harder part would be accessing the outboard sides of the stringers, as these could not easily be seen from the hatches and openings available. I would have to cut a few new openings to be able to get into the outboard side. Additionally, there was an athwartship stringer just aft of the keel, underneath the galley. This area needed particularly close inspection because it was almost directly above where the fiberglass damage was done to the hull at the aft end of the keel. I started by cutting small openings in the liner, either under seats or under an area that would be covered by flooring. This allowed me to get a camera stuck through the holes so that I could take some pictures of the outboard side of the stringers and the tabbing. This would give me an idea if any damage had occurred on the outboard side. If it had, I'd have to cut some bigger openings. But fortunately, everything I looked at appeared to be in good condition with no evidence of any cracking whatsoever. Starting forward, repairing the broken tabbing, I drilled small holes through the top of the tabbing and injected epoxy, much like I did with injecting the epoxy into the keel. As none of the fiberglass was actually damaged, and only the bond between the tabbing and the hull had broken loose, I felt this method of repair was less invasive and probably stronger than cutting out all of the loose glass and reglassing. The epoxy would make a strong bond between the tabbing and the hull. In larger areas, I added an additional layer of tabbing to cover the edge of the existing tabbage for a little bit better bonding. In some corners, I also ground out and replaced some cracked fiberglass. The repairs in this area were basically a hybrid between injecting epoxy into the loose fiberglass and reglassing some areas. Once these repairs were complete, I moved aft to the athwartship stringer. I had to remove the batteries and one panel to get an inspection into the aft stringer. I opened a small area at first and discovered what I thought might be a minor crack. Upon opening the area further, I discovered that this aft stringer was badly damaged. It was unclear if the damage had occurred at this time or from a previous grounding. Either way, it was going to have to be repaired, and it was going to take some major glass work. To fully assess the damage, I had to cut out some of the floor liner in order to be able to see on the top of the stringer. I also got my camera in underneath on the back side of the stringer to check for damage there. Once that was opened up, I could grind some of the glass out and see just how badly damaged the stringer was. I was able to determine that most of the damage was to the top of the stringer and the aft side of the stringer, which was fortunate because these areas were also a little bit easier to get to. It was then time to get the grinder out and start grinding away at the fractured glass, trying to remove as much of the delaminated and fractured material as I could, while still leaving a bit of a framework left to glass over. Only after all this was done could I start thinking about placing some new material back on top of the stringer and rebuilding it and strengthening it. I applied 4 layers of 1808 knit materials with polyester resin over as much of the stringer as I could practically reach. I felt that this was adequate enough to restore the structural integrity of the stringer. Once that glass had cured, it was time to start putting the boat back together. The first thing I had to do would be to glass the flooring that I cut out back in. With all of the fiberglass work done, it was time to start cleaning up and reinstalling the teak and holly plywood flooring over the liner. Once that was done, it was a simple matter to replace the batteries and do final detailing. We had originally purchased this boat with the idea of keeping it and using it for our cruising adventures. However, once we spent a little bit of time on the boat, we decided it really wasn't the right boat for us, so we put her up for sale. Luckily, we found a local sailor who was looking for just this boat, and we were able to give him a good price on it while still making some money off of the project. He has since been sailing and racing the boat on the Neuse River for the past 2 years with no problems.